Hi. This being human thing is, it's tough. It's a lot, right? And we often get caught in negative thoughts, and it ends up making us feel very down and entangled in our minds and in our head, and feeling like we're not good enough. And it's impossible to really feel and behave in a confident manner. I'm Eimear Zone. I'm the author of The Little Book of Good Enough. I am a confidence coach and also a mindfulness teacher, and I'm going to help you today by giving you 3 tools that you can use that are really going to help you create some space around some really tricky, common, troublesome, negative thoughts that can make you feel very down on yourself. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So this is really a part of what is called psychological flexibility. I base these teachings on a modality called acceptance and commitment therapy and use that in my coaching. So these are really tried and tested approaches to really help you. This isn't fairy dust. This isn't, a quick fix. It's something that I'm going to offer to you that really has some really good science behind it and that can help you. So let's jump right in without any further introduction. Let's think about a thought that is really common, pernicious, and sticky that many of us have and can really get us entangled and lead us into a negative spiral. And let's face it, it can really ruin our day and take us out of doing the things that we really want to and are capable of doing. And we kind of forget what badasses we are when we get caught in these thoughts. I call them mind traps. The one that we're going to work with today, and I'll use for the example, is a really common one. And it's this thought: they must think I'm really stupid for saying that or for doing that, right? It can be any negative thought, but let's just use that one as an example. Often we're I call this particular type of trap of the mind trap, negative thinking pattern, mind reading. Super common. And one thing that you can try and practice today is try and notice when you're mind reading, when you imagine that you know what other people are thinking, and then that drives your emotional response and your behavior, and it really impacts the quality of your experience in those moments, or indeed, for that day. So what we want to do with these thoughts is begin to create a little bit of distance between us and the thought, because the thought is really a mere product of our mind. And we want to begin to relate to it as that. And often we don't. We just sort of run a story like that. They must think I'm stupid for saying that will lead to other sabotaging thoughts that really undermine us, really undermine our confidence and our sense of self-worth and our self-esteem. And we just shrink and we become like this small self rather than who we truly are, which is pretty badass and magnificent. First thing I want you to do to be able to look at a thought like this a little bit different is you actually write it down. You take a simple card, or it can be a post-it note, and you're going to write the thought down. They must think I'm, stupid for saying that. And then it's like you're plucking it out of your head and you're beginning to look at it and see it as an object, as a creation. You're bringing some physicality and some tangibility to this thing that's just nebulous in our head and oppressive and heavy. And you see it for what it is. And then you begin to look at it from a distance. And I want you to kind of see, oh, okay, here's the thought. And begin to look at it with a little distance. There it is, a product, something that I have created. Some people find it helpful. And by the way, I don't want you to pick, when you're doing this, your most oppressive thought, the one that's most emotionally charged. Choose something for this that feels workable for you, okay? So like if you're going into the ring with an opponent, you don't want to be going into the most challenging opponent that you could possibly go into the ring with. You want to go into the ring with something that feels manageable. Okay, I can be with this thought and not be totally overwhelmed with it. That's what we want to experiment with. It can be helpful when you're practicing with writing a tricky thought like this on a card to think about taking that card with you throughout a day, so that you're beginning to experience it externally to you and to see it more as a product and a thing and something that you can choose to interact with or not. Okay, so that's your first kind of tool. to start changing the relationship with the thoughts and creating that little bit of space. The next thing that I want you to do, or the next tool, is really beginning to notice the thoughts and label the thoughts that you're buying into. The bought thought. Okay, so we'll work with the same thought again. They must think I'm stupid for saying that. Oh my God, I never say the right thing. Oh, I can't believe that I'm so stupid. I never get it right. I don't know why I have this job. I'm in this position. I'm in this friendship. I'm worthless. This is like, this is never going to change. This is really embarrassing. Jesus Christ. Whatever. You're in that cycle. And then at whatever point in that spiral that you notice that, you've bought the thought, you've bought into it, it's true, and now it's running the show. Like it's driving your whole experience moment to moment. I noticed that I bought the thought that they must think I'm stupid for saying that. I noticed that I bought the thought. Notice the thought. That is the second thing. Third thing that you will begin to practice or you experiment with is changing the vocalization of the thought, right? For example, they must think I'm stupid for saying that. They must. It's how you vocalize it. You begin to create a little bit of space with it. So you might say it really slowly, like they must think. Okay, not going to use up our time doing all of that. You really want to play with the words in your brain that creates a space and a shift in what the words, the power of those words over you. And that is what you are playing with. You want to start saying it in different accents, different voices, different paces, and it begins to activate a shift. Another way that you can do this, which is the same real tool, is to even sing playfully the troubling thought to a very familiar tune. So it could be like Happy Birthday is one that there's been lots of experimentation around. So you might be going, they must think I'm stupid for saying that. They must think I'm stupid for saying that. They must think I'm stupid for, or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, whatever. It begins, I know it sounds crazy, I know it sounds funny, and you may think, oh, it's trivializing a thought that is really oppressive to me. And if that's the way it feels for you and it doesn't work for you, then leave it and use one of the other tools, one of the other techniques I've shared with you. You don't have to, not everything resonates for everybody. That's okay. I want to give you options. The real focus here is beginning to see the thought as a product for what it is, a product of the mind, so that we can begin to relate to it differently. We can begin to create some space and get out of the spiral and disentangle ourselves from these sticky negative thoughts. Okay, I don't want to overpower you. That's all we're going to do today. Write down the thought on a card. Label it when you've bought into a thought, and put it in the driver's seat. Okay, just label it. Oh, it looks like I bought that thought. And the third, play with vocalizations of the tricky thoughts. Which one of those three are you going to try out? I would love to hear in the comments. I'm Eimear Zone. Follow along, like and subscribe for more tips on how to build your confidence, build psychological flexibility.